name is Carlos Caesar. This will be the first show of Made in Fall River. Living in Fall River for 30 years, I found out that we have a lot of treasures. And we gonna go on a tour and find out about all the treasures in Fall River. The name of the show, we called it Made in Fall River. The name says all. Everything is made in Fall River and then it's sent to not just all over the country, but outside the country too. Today, our first show, we're going to dedicate to this wonderful factory in Fall River. Vanson Leather are the place that we're going to be visiting today. And we're going to tour the factory. We're going to tour what they made in Fall River. We're here with the owner of the factory. Mike is going to take us on a tour. But before he does, we want to know, the first question probably will be why leather and why Fall River, Mike?
Well, we're doing leather because we like making motorcycle jackets. I mean, that's one of the main things we do. And we've been in Fall River since 1987. And we came here from Boston. But we're here because the people are very clever, very technical. They're craftspeople. And that's why we came to Fall River. And we've been here now 30 years this year. And it's been a pretty good run. So we make great things.
And I know that you, with your company, and that's something that really amazed me, is the connection that you have actually with famous people. And we're going to be showing to our viewers pictures of the connections that you have with your shop with very famous people on Hollywood. So can you tell us that connection?
Well, we do a lot of special orders, custom work, and so there aren't that many businesses that I know of in the United States that do what we do, and I don't think anybody really does what we do. So people have sought us out over the years, and we make these things. They've been in the movies, and they've been, people who are like Lyle Lovett and Jesse James and so on, Peter Fonda. They like these things. We made jackets for John Kerry, several, as a matter of fact. He's pretty tall. And Steve Dawsey, Patriots, and it's a lot of stuff like that.
On the suits, I know that you factory some suits for races, and some of those suits are returned to you, and in a kind of a form of appreciation for the fact that they suits saved their lives. And yes. Can you get us into that?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, we have a whole room full of suits when you come in, the suits that have done exactly that. I think the record is 249 miles an hour that coming off the motorcycle. Mostly at that rate of speed, it's drag racing. But road racing can get up there also, maybe in the 150 range or so. But it's definitely what we make is unusual. We've used some of the techniques that we've developed for the drag race protection. We did some gloves for the demining in the U.S. Army when they were needing to be able to feel the tripwires under mines, and they needed to be protected with Kevlar and Nomex and fireproof material and so forth. We were able to do that. We worked with the Natick Labs on that. And then beyond that, we've got I think it's 10 or 11 patents pardon me, that have been granted to us for various aspects of protection and armor and ventilation, mostly pertaining to really high-performance motorcycle racing and riding.
On the first floor that we are right now, you kind of turned this in a kind of a museum because you have a lot of antique stuff in here too. You have some motorcycles and stuff like that. Can you give us a little idea how this is happening?
Well, I've been doing this since 1974, and so I'm 64 years old. I'm going to be 65, and in all those years, what I had when I was younger is now considered vintage somehow. I don't know how that happened, but so we've retained some of that, and we've kept mementos, and we are pretty active in the vintage racing. I mean, that is a big part of the current scene. It's taking older motorcycles and making them do things that they never could have done when they were new. And so yeah, we enjoy that, and that's something that my customers and us, we can relate to, because it's from our youth, and you're taking something and still using it that might be 50, 60-year-old machine. And this coming weekend, we're going to be having the open house, and they're going to do the Wall of Death ride here, and this is not a new Wall of Death. This one was built in 1936, and they bring it and they set it up, and it's about 70 feet in diameter, a wooden barrel, 20 feet high or so, and they ride antique Indian motorcycles that are 70, 80 years old, and they go around and around and around, and they go fast enough so they get all the way up to the top of the wooden bowl, and they are at that point parallel to the earth. And of course, then they can do stunts, two people riding and a guy standing on the shoulders and all that type of thing. So, these are the things that take you back, and were attractions that when I was younger, it was something we did. We didn't have smartphones, so that was the kind of thing you went to see.
Was a different entertainment type of back then. So Mike is gonna tour the shop with us, and is gonna explain from how it starts, how's the job starts, and what ends, and he will be on the end of the show to wrap up the show with us. So Mike, take us through your shop. And we are on the design area, and that's where everything starts, and everything starts here with Tatiana. Can you take us through the process under your hands?
Sure. First, the customer gets a layout, and he decides what color he's going to pick. We have many colors upstairs, and he gets a swatch of leathers, and he designs the design and the graphics that he's going to approve. And then it comes to the pattern department, and they take the measurements of the jacket or the suits, and then it comes to me to do the graphic part which I send upstairs to be cut.
So if I have this design that I want to put on my jacket, I come to you for the perfect design or the idea, and then you make it happen. And I can see that you work with computers, but it's other kind of work of computer. You, matter of fact, have fun with your computer instead of being writing all day. So very, very interesting. And this is the first step into our tour today. We are on step 2, and this is the cut department. And to explain to us, you're going to help us explaining to our viewers what's happening right now.
Okay. Well, what's happening right now is that there's a stream of water coming from the nozzle at 30,000 psi, and it's actually cutting through the leather to make the graphics. Right now, we're cutting bones for a jacket, and what happens is that once it's done cutting, it peels up, and I can actually show you right here. It peels up, and we have double-sided tape. And then we just take the tape off and we stick it to the jacket, and then it gets stitched to the jacket. There's a graphics woman downstairs who creates the graphics, and she sends them to me. And then I have to save them to this computer right here. And then this computer is what controls this machine, and it tells it when to cut, when to stop cutting, and the direction to follow it.
Can you take us from this process right now?
That's the Inca machine. They call Inca, the automatic blade machine. That's the blade we use it to cut all the leather. Okay. It's basically like they send a PO upstairs. We type the number, and all the pieces showing the screen. So I have the mouse, which I can use the pieces and rotate the pieces, placing the best spot in the leather to avoid imperfections like that. I can turn and twist the pieces to get a better yield in the usage of the leather, to minimize the waste. As you can see the pieces over here. I already placed it.
Okay.
So the projector show the piece through to the mirror. I shot the pieces in the mirror and I place them in the leather.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay, no problem.
What Roger does, it's almost a lost art, and it's cutting the old way. It's cutting by hand, and when you're doing production and you need to make sure that the skins are perfectly matched, then doing it by hand gives you the best result. It might not be the fastest, but it's the highest quality. Where we use the machines for cutting is when we are using a pattern that is created in the computer. It's a virtual pattern. So it gets used once. It's your special pattern. And we don't want to go to the expense and the time-consuming operation of making a pattern on the water jet, which is how we make the patterns that Roger uses. So in that sense, for custom, where you're doing racing suits and so on, the machine cutting is good. But when you're looking to match the pieces and make sure the grain is right and the shade is right and all of that, then what Roger does is very skilled, and it's a lost art almost. So he can explain to you how he does that.
One particular point that I want to get across to our viewers is this table is an original table back the year 1945, and this table had to be maintained by cleaning, right?
Yeah, I scrape every week, like Friday, and scrape it down after put like oil, like it's like a different kind of oil, no, Japanese. Yeah. Then I put oil, and after dry, then after Monday I start over again, like so maintain like when I cut too much, then get soft. So I take everything off, then make it nice and start again.
Good, very very interesting, and good luck with that knife. And we're here with Mr. David Botello, and he's going to explain to us what he does.
All right, so I take this like an order, and I get the patterns on here. This nests it manually, and then I send it from here to this machine. This is the plotter, and the plotter plots out all the pieces that I need. And once this is done, I take it from here back to the table, staple it on the material, and then cut it out. This is just a single, so it's only 2-ply. I would cut it with scissors. If it was something higher that I'd laid up, I'd cut it with my machine, my knife. Now this being just like single, like a single jacket, I just do it by hand. If I was running a lay, I would use this machine here, and back and forth, laying them out. But since it's just a single, it's a lot faster to just lay it out by hand like this. I just measure out the length of the marker that's plotting out. A yard and 16. This is cut face to face, meaning A and B. So this is the right side. This is actually for 2 single jackets, a small and a large. There's 2 sizes in this. I just tack it down so it don't move. Figures. There we go. That just holds it in place. After this gets cut out, I send it over to the ladies in the lining department. They stitch it. And then once the jacket's complete, the lining gets put in the bin, and they stitch the lining in the jacket. That's pretty much it.
Now we are with Brenda, and Brenda is going to explain to us what happens in here.
Okay, this is rebundling. The work comes from mock-up, comes over here, it's stacked up, and these are called minis. You do waistbands, collars, backs, fronts. So then I scan them. People's names are on here that's going to do them. Everything is on a barcode today. Then we take it and we put them on. Now we're going to go around the other side. We have all the names, the people that work. Does the back,
This is all the names of the employees.
Yes, that are on this.
All
that are on the conveyor.
Okay, all on this side of the shop.
The right, yeah, the left. The right, there's no one. We take it, the same thing as we did over there, we scanned it in. Now we're going to scan it back. It's input and output. So we scan the first ticket. Now I'm going to scan the name that it's going to. So I close it up, send it out, and I open the gate. See the gate down there? It's going to go in the chute for the person to work on it. As you know, jackets, gloves, bags, everything gets a PO. So this way they know who bought it, and if somebody steals it, they know it's not that person's jacket. Okay, we always do Vanson. This is inside of a jacket. It's called a backer. All right, we put it here. See the PO? The PO is on it.
So that's a way that you have to track the jacket.
Right, by the PO. And the PO always gets a key fob.
he's doing the armor like it's back protectors, and what he's doing, he's putting the scales on. This is a 4 scale. It has 4 scales, and this goes on the back of the suit, and if the guy should crash, at least his back is being protected. So this is our back protector. It's armor is what it amounts to. And these are medical rivets that we have on this side, and then he turns around and he's putting them on the other side, and they kind of like click together. Yes, they do. We also do wax cotton. We just don't do leather. We do wax cotton versions. We do a combination of wax cotton and leather. So we do different things. We are a leather company, but some of the people that ride bikes, they also like the wax cotton. And we have some wax cotton jackets that you can put armor in.
So it is a special order.
This is a custom order.
Okay.
This is custom for her from beginning to end. It's going to fit her like a glove if that's what she wants, and it'll have all that she needs. And she wanted it to be bones, and that's what it is. It's like a skeleton bones, and she'll have all her patches that for her sponsors and everything else on it. The name on it, he wanted his name on it. This one is a plain one. This is kind of plain. This doesn't have a lot of graphics. Wanted his name on the back. Now this here is for a hump. It's a foam hump, and that's to protect their neck. If they should fall, they go back, they're going to hit on the foam. We have to stuff it. We make them here too. She's waiting for one that's in a mold that is getting ready to cure. It's curing. That's basically, now she's cleaning it up so it can get shipped out. This is final QC.
Now we are on the end of the tour and it's shipping. So what happens here?
What happens here is everything that has been done on the floor, when it's completed and it's gone through final QC, we release it. And when we release it, everybody downstairs, the salespeople, know that it's been released because we send copies to them through the computers. And they tell us what we're going to ship out to who they want us to, whether it be retail or wholesale, which we have both. And they'll send up a sheet for Mark, and Mark will look at the sheet, and Mark will bag everything. He'll tag it. He'll box it. He'll put the addresses on. He'll put the scans that need to be on because everything gets scanned by UPS, and it'll go downstairs at the end of the day, and it gets shipped out. A lot of the stuff sits here while we're doing different groups for different companies. Like over here we have Washington House, for an example. We're doing a lot of different stuff for them. We do jackets, We also do sometimes totes, sometimes we do belly bags and stuff like that. While everything is being done, it doesn't get done all at the same time. So as it gets done, he knows who's it for because it's been released and he has his sheet. He puts them into these boxes and he waits until the order is complete. When the order is complete, then we ship it out complete. When the suits get washed and re-dyed, they come in here. They get washed in our washer, which is outside. It's just a plain, ordinary washer, but we have our own kind of system, and we have chemicals that we throw in, but they're not chemicals. They're like oils and stuff like that, and we use soap. And we wash it just like normal, but it has to be our stuff. We'll repair our stuff and we'll wash our stuff. We can't guarantee anybody else's because we know what we have. When it gets washed, then it comes in here and it goes on the dryers. Those are dryers. We hang the suits on the dryers and it's given out cold air and it dries the whole suit. This suit was washed. It's waiting to be re-dyed. We're waiting for the right color because we don't have this color anymore in dye. It's reflex blue. We're having the company that does dyeing for us. We sent the swatch and it'll be exactly the same, and then we will re-dye the blue and then we'll re-dye the silver, which he wants it all re-dyed and then put a top coat on it and it'll look brand spanking new.
And we are on the end of our show. A really nice tour that we did today during this visit. With us to the end and to wrap up is Mike. Mike, I really want to congratulate you for the excellent factory you have here and the treasure that you keep here in Fall River. And the last words would be up to you.
Yeah, well, we're very lucky to be here. This is a great town. There's a lot going on. The people are terrific. And, you look at these old buildings in this town and they look like they're maybe a little beat up, but they allow a lot of things to happen that other towns don't have at all. So there's a lot of creativity. There can be a lot of ingenuity and opportunity in these buildings. And there is. I mean, there are companies not dissimilar to Vanson here and there in the city making things. And it's a great honor to be here.
And this will wrap up our show Made in Fall River. We promise to come back next month with another treasure right here in Fall River.